नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातम् अहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरिः ओं तत्सत्। ओम नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So, seeking all your blessings for some Krishna Katha today. And also, it is His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj's Parents' Day. So, seeking blessings from Maharaj also. So, let's start. Mataji, is anybody sharing or you want me to share?
Yeah, Rohini Mataji, will you share? Yeah, Mataji, she is sharing.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so we are on 3:31:24 to 28, right? 24 to 28, Mataji. Okay. So I see only Anasuya Mataji, who is with the devotees. Kindly take this opportunity today, being we are fasting for Mahadvatsi, and then so. Yeah, Anasuya Mataji will read the shloka. Prashanti Mataji will read the translation. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji pranams. Patito bhuvya mishraha vishtha bhuriva cheshtate roruyati gate jnane viparitam gatim gataha. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. The child thus falls on the ground, smeared with stool and blood, and placed just like a worm germinated from the stool. He loses his superior knowledge and is under the spell of Maya. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah. So, very graphical aspect of Shrimad Bhagavatam. Probably it's very much needed for us also. Because invariably we forget, class or, when we are reading, we get the import or the feel of what actually is birth and death. But then, this particular chapter and these verses really give us a picture. If it is picture, imagine the child falls on the ground smeared with stool, blood, and just plays like a worm germinated from the stool. When I don't think we can imagine ourselves also like that, right? So we see how the previous verses, the jiva in the Garbha is praying to the Lord that kindly save me from this situation, this scenario, right? And then I will always pray to you. What is the scenario? Imagine ourselves being tied in a balloon, and then for 9 months, and then we are upside down, and we are floating in the liquid of stool and blood and smell, and the skin is so soft that all the germs there, which is biting, and then we cannot even scratch ourselves, and then whatever very spicy or hot or chilly or extreme, if it is not sattvic ahar, how the jiva really feels very a lot of pain. But it is so in that condition, it is praying to the Lord, please save me from this condition, that I will always pray to you. But bhusparsha, the moment it is born, right? What's the first thing that it does? It forgets. I mean, because it is, overtaken by Maya. So Bhu Sparsha, then it is taken by Maya. So, and then what is the first thing that happens when the child is born? Any quick answers? What is the first thing that, yeah?
Crying,
Crying,
Ah.
Mataji.
So it is giving us the feel of Dukkhalaya Ashashvata. Dukkhalaya, okay, Ashashvata maybe not, As soon as the child is born. And suppose, let's say, the child is not crying, what do? They keep it upside down and give one tight slap on the back. I mean, tight slap in the sense, So Maya is telling us right from not day one, moment one, that this is how this life is going to be here, that you're going to get slapped, kicked, and everything, right? And also, it is said that crying is very natural for jiva. Obviously, crying can be of two things. One is crying to be in this Maya, or crying for Lord Krishna. So crying for Lord Krishna, but crying is natural, swabhavika for the jiva. But then to smile and laugh, it has to learn, I believe. Right? So, and another aspect that I heard in one of the pravachans was that the mother is supposed to be the most, among the parents also, the mother is supposed to be the most dear to the child. But when the child is born, if without all that stool and blood and pus and urine, I don't know if any of us would take the child also. The nurse, because she is used to it, then she cleans it, and then she wraps it up and then gives the child to the mother. So you see, why I'm insisting on this is, in spite of it, the Paramatma is always with us, whether we are in stool, blood, urine, or whether we are, decked up, whether we are poor, irrespective of it. So just imagine, that is why Dhruva Maharaj, Suniti, when she's telling Dhruva Maharaj, you are experiencing one mother's love from me, but the Lord's love is million times. If a mother is loving you, that is the amount of love the Lord gives, right? So this is one example here, like how in spite of all these conditions, how the Lord is still with us, irrespective of who is with us, right? So that was 24. We'll go to 25. Yeah, Sudha Mataji will read the shloka, Shobha Mataji will read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Parachandam na vidusha pushyamano jane saha anabhipretam apanna pratyakyathum anishvara.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Mataji, translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. After coming out of the abdomen, the child is given to the care of persons who are unable to understand what he wants, and thus he is nursed by such persons. Unable to refuse whatever is given to him, he falls into undesirable circumstances. Haribol. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Krishnamurti Prabhu, can you please read the purport?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams Mataji. Purport by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada Ki Jai. Within the abdomen of the mother, the nourishment of the child was being carried on by nature's own arrangement. The atmosphere within the abdomen was not at all pleasing. But as far as the child's feeding was concerned, it was being properly done by the laws of nature. But upon coming out of the abdomen, the child falls into the different atmosphere. He wants to eat one thing, but something else is given to him because no one knows his actual demand, and he cannot refuse the undesirable given to him. Sometimes the child cries for the mother's breast, but because the nurse thinks that it is due to pain within his stomach that he is crying, she supplies him some bitter medicine. The child does not want it, but he cannot refuse it. He is put in very awkward circumstances, and the sufferings continues. Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So actually, Prabhupada has put it, the shlokas are graphic, And Prabhupada has added the icing on it. I mean, like how, the child goes through what it goes through undesired. But then, very nicely Srila Prabhupada says, even though in the abdomen, we talked of how difficult it is, but the laws of nature, properly done by laws of nature, like, the food, how, when it's in the garbha, when it's in the abdomen, how the child is taken care through the mother, the umbilical cord and other things, perfect arrangement, because it is coming from the perfect person, right? And in the abdomen, we saw the difficulties, the miseries, and then next we saw like how when the child, comes out, how it is totally misunderstood. Is it as a child that we are misunderstood? I think this goes on for life. We want something, we say something, we understand something, we get something. And the same thing with us also. Somebody tells us one thing and then we misinterpret. So it is a beginning of material life, right? For example, like, here Prabhupada gives about the example where the child is not even able to speak or is not even able to express that it wants to sleep, not eat or, have food, but the everybody is trying to feed it. And when it is wants to be fed, and then they're trying to put it to sleep, just a glimpse actually of how the suffering is continuous. And then as we grow, when we are young, I mean, till one age, we are okay. We are fed well and other things. But then once we touch teenage and other things, we have the capacity to eat. We can eat anything and digest anything. But then we get into the aspect of, I want to maintain myself, look slim and trim. And then we give up on a lot of things and we're able to do that. But then what happens once your, science metabolism, as one grows after 40, metabolism reduces, right? But then the craving increases. Then we start eating and then we don't digest it so much. You see, whatever we want, how the material world bewilders us, in all aspect and every phase of life, right? We don't want to go to school, but then we go to school, and by the time we think we have got used to going to school, and then your education finishes and then you get to the next aspect of life. Every aspect of life, right, is a challenge. And then by the time you think you got used to that, and then the next aspect of, and in between, of course, there are so many things that we face, right? So, every step, Krishna in a very mild way, actually in a mild way, in every step, Krishna is showing how difficult this material world is. But then we wriggle and then, make adjustments and things like that. And then we want to find some happiness here itself. Okay, maybe for some more time. Maybe the next phase of life. Oh, as a child, it is difficult. And when I grow up, it is better. Then when I grow up, and then when I'm earning, it is better. When I'm earning, then if I get married, it is better. And then by the time you realize, then we are going, nothing is better, right? There's a very nice adage in English, man is a fool, always wanting what is not. He wants it cold when hot. He wants it hot when it's cold, right? So, we can express after we are able to speak, and then we are able to comprehend and all those things. We are able to express, I don't want this is not comfortable for me, I cannot digest it, I cannot palate it, and then etc. So imagine a child which cannot even express, its only language is cry. Right? It cries for hunger, it cries for sleep, it cries for anything, it cries. And then again, it only most of the times it's the mother, and then those initial days when the mother or whoever is taking care of the baby can understand it. And where is that intelligence coming from? That intelligence is given by Krishna. So we are continuing to see how difficult this material life is. So we'll read 26 and 27, and then we will have few discussions. Actually, the purports are also small. So 3 people, I will call out Padma Mataji, Karpagavali Mataji, and Sunila Mataji to read 26 shloka, translation, and purport. Please.
Mata, you mentioned my name?
Yeah, read the
Okay.
shloka, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Shayito suchi paryanke jantu swedaj dusite nesha kanduyane anganam ashanutana chestane. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Karpagavali
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Dandatnam Mataji. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes.
Am I audible, Mataji?
Yeah, you are audible, Mataji. Please read.
Translation by Prabhupada Kiji. Foul blood invested with sweat and germs, the poor child is incapable of scratching his body to get relief from sensations, to say nothing of picking up, standing, or even moving.
Hare Krishna, Pranams Mataji, purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. It should be noted that the child is born crying and suffering. After birth, the same suffering continues and he cries because he is disturbed by the germs in his foul bed, which is contaminated by his urine and stool. A poor child continues to cry. He is unable to take any remedial measures for his relief. Hare Krishna.
So 27 also will read. Divya Gopa Mataji will read the shloka, Sarika Mataji the translation, Anika Mataji the purport. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, pranams.
Hare Krishna.
स्तुत्यन्त्यामत्वचं दंशा मशकात् मत्पुणादयः रुदन्तं विगतज्ञानं कृमया कृमिकं यथा.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In his helpless condition, gnats, mosquitoes, bugs, and other germs bite the baby, whose skin is tender, just as smaller worms bite a big worm. The child, deprived of his wisdom, cries bitterly. Hare Krishna.
Anita Mataji, would you like to read the purport?
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The word Vigata Jnanam means that the spiritual knowledge which a child developed in the abdomen is suddenly lost to the spell of Maya. Owing to various kinds of disturbances and to being out of the abdomen, the child cannot remember what he was thinking for his salvation. It is assumed that even if a person acquires some spiritually uplifting knowledge, and circumstantially he is prone to forget it. Not only children but also elderly persons should be very careful to protect their sense of Krishna consciousness and avoid unfavorable circumstances so that they may not forget their prime duty.
Thank you, Mataji. So, yeah, so the misery continues. See, what I may say might look very, very abominable or something. It was very disturbing or difficult to comprehend. Imagine being laid on your own stool and blood and urine, right? And then as a child, we have seen, children play also in that child because it is so ignorant. See, the effect of ignorance, right? So child is happily playing in its own mala, in its, right? And then, most of the times during the end, many of us may be in that situation, may not be in that situation. We see at the end of the time when, we get old, we come back to that same situation. Invariably. Now, science has, brought some dignity, like, there's adult diapers and other things. So to that extent, it looks externally clean, but within the diaper, then you're again sleeping on one's own, blood and not blood, urine or stool and everything. So maybe wondering why I'm repeating this. See, when things are hunky-dory, when things are going good, when we are healthy, when things are happening as we want, we are getting, then it is very difficult to imagine all this or even remember all this. The graphical explanation here, like it is so picturesque here, should be etched in our mind, not day in and day out, every moment. If the next shloka purport, Mataji, Rohini Mataji, I want the next. Yeah. See, what does Srila Prabhupada in the last line of the purport, Prabhupada is saying, not only children, but also elderly person should be very careful to protect their sense of Krishna consciousness and avoid unfavorable circumstances so that they may not forget their prime duty. What is their prime duty? Jiver Swarupohoy Krishner Nityadas. Right? Really, it is very difficult. Kunti Maharani says, Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shri. These four things are an obstruction for Krishna consciousness. Right? But if some are able to really dedicate completely to Krishna, in spite of all these four opulences, right, then it is really the mercy of Guru or Vaishnavas. So this graphical explanation of the condition that we were in, and then we can be in. Not that necessarily all of us, when we get old, we have to be in that condition, but we can be also. Actually, 2 years ago, both my in-laws were bedridden. And then whatever I had read, right, I could see it in front of my eyes. So, and then there was one saying that I remembered. It's not necessary that all the mistakes in their life we have to do and learn. We can learn from others' mistakes also. It was right. It was like, whatever all this was there, I could see it. I said, trying to, whatever little way, serve them. Said, oh my God, definitely, I don't want another birth or death, definitely not another birth if this is the condition that we are in. Because when we are born, we don't know, right? We don't know that condition unless we see our children or we see other children when they are born. But then that was, so it's such a difficult. Jara is worse than death, actually. Jara is old age is worse than death because you're neither alive nor dead. I mean, in that condition, when, you cannot hear, then you want to eat, but then you're not able to eat, then you're bedridden, and then you want to just get up and do your things and you're not able to do. Really. So I was thinking how helpful it is to, in all ways, it is not only you're serving them, but Krishna is giving you an opportunity to see first, right in front of your eyes, this is what is, old age and death going to be. It really brings you to vairagya when you are serving such people. Like, you may not be completely, I was serving them, but then even just looking at the condition they were in, right? So it really helps to stay together and serve children and serve the elderly people. One thing is, it will keep you human. Another thing is, it will really understand the import of Shastra, of Shrimad Bhagavatam, of these particular verses we are serving. So, what are the circumstances that Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada? So, there's this famous shloka, Anukulasya sankalpam pratikulasya varchanam rakshishyatiti vishvaso goptrupte varamantata atmanikshepa karpanye shadvidha sharanagatihi. What are the 6 divisions of surrender? Is accepting whatever is favorable for Krishna consciousness, rejecting whatever is unfavorable for Krishna consciousness, completely convinced that Krishna will give shelter or protection, and accepting the Lord as the guardian, and then fully surrendering in humility. Right? These are the 6 things that we have to be aware of. to surrender to Krishna. And then, there are many shlokas, one or two shlokas I would like to quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita about Maya. Tate Krishna bhaje kare guru ra sevana, Maya jale chute paye Krishnera charana. In the Krishna conscious state, the living entity engages in devotional service under the direction of spiritual master. In this way, he gets out of the clutches of Maya and takes the shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna. Lord Krishna, CC Madhya 22.25. Right? So, any scriptures, I mean, if you take Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the only thing Krishna says, is giving us this thing about be aware of Maya. Prabhu Srila Prabhupada also, says to be very, very careful about Maya. There can, in any way, in different various ways it can come, and we may think we are doing Krishna even while doing Krishna consciousness. Like one example that I heard there was a Brahmana who was doing his 3 Sandhya, that is Sandhya Vandanam, at perfect time, morning, noon and evening. And then for many years, right? So, and it so happened in one evening, he slept beyond 6 p.m. 6 o'clock was the Sandhya time, but he was sleeping. Then it is said in this incident that Kali Purusha comes and wakes him up. Hey, wake up. It's your Sandhya time. Then now this man is wondering, this Brahmana is wondering, how come, Kali, you are coming and waking me up? His answer is, you are doing it so perfectly thrice a day at that particular time, and then you are proud about it. So I don't want you to miss it out and then feel regretful, right? That you did not do your Sandhya at 6 o'clock, and then, then your pride will come down. So you see, Maya can attack us in so many ways, in so many ways, even, unimaginable ways, right? So we have to be very careful about Maya. So how can we be, what to say, on our toes about Maya? So Srila Prabhupada says, never leave my finger or my foot, never leave the Acharyas, the Parampara's shelter. we are, when devotee asks, Prabhupada, I'm always Krishna conscious, but sometimes I'm in Maya. But Prabhupada says, no, you're always in Maya, sometimes in Krishna consciousness. So if we think we are in Krishna consciousness, so we are not in Maya, that itself is the biggest Maya. So, Bhagavatam, Satsanga, deities, our sadhana, reading, all this helps us to, we may think it is the same thing again and again, Atma, then the Lord is supreme, but then each time it is reminding us that, what is it reminding us? That we can get into the clutches of Maya. So be very careful, right? Because the moment we are away from Bhagavatam, reading or our sadhana or satsanga or listening to class or giving class, the moment we are away from here, then we are so convinced that I am this body. It takes a lot of mercy from Guru Parampara to read and to inculcate, to actually imbibe that aspect that I'm not this body, I'm the soul. Really takes a lot of mercy, right? So to gain that mercy, we have to please that person, where we are getting mercy from, of course, from Krishna and the Parampara. And how will the Parampara and Krishna be pleased? When we follow their instructions of our sadhana. Right. So we will see the last shloka for today. Yeah, Sharmila Mataji will read the shloka. Janaki Mataji the translation, and Shloka Mataji will read the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji. इत्येवं शैशवं भुक्त्वा दुःखं पौगण्डमेव च अलब्धाभीप्सितो अज्ञानात् इद्धमन्योषु चार्पितः. Continue.
Hare Krishna. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. The child passes through his childhood suffering different kinds of distress and attains bodyhood. In boyhood, also he suffers pain over desires to get things he can never achieve. And thus, due to ignorance, he becomes angry and sorry. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Shubha Mataji, are you there to read the purport? Yeah.
Yeah, Mataji. From birth to end, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. From birth to the end of 5 years of age is called childhood. After 5 years, up to the end of the 15th year is called Poganda. At 16 years of age, youth begins. The distress of childhood are already explained, but when the child attains boyhood, he is enrolled in a school which he does not like. He wants to play, but he is forced to go to school and study and take responsibility for passing examination. Another kind of is that he wants to get some things with which to play, but circumstances may, and thus he becomes irritated and feels pain. In one word, he is unhappy. Even in his boyhood, he just as he was unhappy in his childhood. What to speak of youth? But boys are apt to create so many artificial demands for playing, and when they do not attain satisfaction, they become furious with anger, and the result is suffering. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. So what is all these shlokas, translation and Prabhupada's purport? What is it doing for us? Jiva jago, jiva jago. Gora chandra bole kotho nidra jao maya. Pesha chira gole. How long are you going to sleep in the witch of, the Maya, which is called witch, And then very nicely, one speaker was saying, this world, of course, the Shastra says this material world is pure misery. It is pure misery, but mixed happiness, right? So we have all that we have actually discussed. And then for past maybe 50, half an hour so, or 40 minutes, we are discussing all negative things. So maybe wondering, oh, do we have any hope? Or do we don't have any hope? What is this? How can we? So I want to end with two instances of glories of Shrimad Bhagavatam and how merciful the Lord is and how much hope for us, all of us, that is there. One is, most of you may know that how there was one very pious person called Atmadev, and his wife's name was Dunduli. Atmadev was a very nice person, he followed everything. He was a very pious person, whereas his wife Dunduli was a very, a very uncompatible wife. She was, not in tune with whatever rituals or whatever spiritual practices Atmadev did. And they did not have children. So Atmadev went to the forest and did some penances, some austerity, and he comes across a sannyasi who gives him a fruit, and the sannyasi tells him, you give this fruit to your wife, and then she will get a very suputra. Suputra in the sense, very nice child. But then he is very thankful to the sannyasi, and then he comes back and then gives his wife Dunduli. Now this wife, not being a very compatible, she is not very keen on having children. And she was not very happy with the scenario. So she takes the fruit and then she goes, and then she has a sister who is pregnant, apparently who's pregnant and who's be delivering in a few months. So, and then she here says, and then their discussion, the sister is also like Dunduli herself, who's also equally bad. then she says it is going to be very difficult. I myself did not want the child. So when the child is going to be born, I'm going to just discard the child and other things the sister is telling her. So you throw the fruit, right? And then you keep yourself away for some few months. And when my child is born, I'll give it to you. You can give it to your husband, is the scenario. And Dunduli throws the fruit and it is eaten by a cow. And the cow eats the fruit, and then a child called Gokarna is born. He's a very, very pious, very nice boy. Because he is born through the cow, he gets the ears of a cow, and but he has a human form because it is coming from a sannyasi with that fruit, which is very empowered fruit. And he is a very nice boy. Meanwhile, the child is born to Dunduli's sister, who's a Tushta only, and then he's called Dundukari. And then he creates havoc, so much havoc in the house of Atmadev, and he gets into all sorts of abominable activities, then gets in touch with prostitutes, and then he's that. And so Atmadev gets so dejected that he leaves and he goes to as a vanaprasthi. He goes and then wants to go and do his adhyatma and then go back to God. So here, now what happens? Then they realize that Dundukari is doing all sorts of activities, like something like Ajamila, to keep his prostitutes happy. He's robbing, stealing, troubling people and all that. And the king gets to know about it. And so he sends some of his soldiers to get Dundukari. You see there, when they're explaining this, the prostitutes come to know that they are coming to find out about Dundukari. They tie him up, and it is said that they put hot coal into his mouth so that he dies, and then in the bargain, they also don't get punished, right? So you see what all he did for them, and this is the reward they give him. And so in that terrible pain, he leaves his body and he becomes a ghost, very ghastly ghost itself, and then a very troublesome ghost. And then he is in lot of pain. And then he realizes Gokarna is his brother, should have been his brother. And then he goes and requests Gokarna to relieve him of this condition. So Gokarna, being a very pious person, then feels a lot for the brother, and then he asks him to enter into a bamboo where there are 7, bamboo has these kind of ridges, 7 ridges. And then he says, you must listen to Shrimad Bhagavatam. When you listen to Shrimad Bhagavatam, you will be released from this ghostly form and all your suffering. And then when he starts, the whole town also comes to listen to Shrimad Bhagavatam. And this goes for 7 days. So each day, when he finishes narrating Shrimad Bhagavatam, it is said that that if we have seen a bamboo, that thing makes a noise, is released from this thing. So after 7 days, there's a Vimana from Vaikunta and takes Dundukari back to Godhead just by listening to Shrimad Bhagavatam. Then all the town peoples, they say, we also heard Shrimad Bhagavatam. How come we are still here? Gokarna says, it is the intent, the intensity, the Shraddha that we hear. So he again repeats and the whole town gets liberated, it says. So this is one hope for us about listening to Shrimad Bhagavatam or reading Shrimad Bhagavatam. That how if it can elevate a ghost from all its miseries, then there is some hope for us. So this is one aspect about glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. And there was another thing that I wanted to share, which was circulating in among our groups. And this Mataji was sharing, is called Veena Gayatri, her name is. And she's a Veena player, right? And she is talking about how the Lord is Sarva Vyapi, omnipresent. And especially when you start reading Srimad Bhagavatam, her words, right, in her own words, she says how Krishna is always with you. And then she is supposed to have started reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And she was invited in London for a Veena Arangetram. So she was going along with her husband, and she was packing her Srimad Bhagavatam also. Apparently, it didn't, when she said, she did not say which Srimad Bhagavatam is, but it was definitely not Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, because she said it was one single book and it was a huge book, right? So from which Acharya, she did not say, but she said she got into every day reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and she was invited as a chief guest into London. That whole trip, probably when they went there, they were planning for 10 days. So the husband said, why are you packing Srimad Bhagavatam? It is heavy, we'll have all other things. Then you'll do a lot of shopping, then we'll have to bring. It's only 10 days, it is okay. You need not pack. You will not have time there to read, etc. The usual jargon. Very, very reluctantly, she said, no, let me pack and other things. But then very reluctantly, she left Srimad Bhagavatam. But she is expressing herself when she went to London for this program. Her entire time, her only mind was, I should have got my Bhagavatam. I should be reading my Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And then it finished, whatever. And then she was in Oxford Street, she says, and trying to do some shopping. But she says, my head was down. I was so morose. I was just not interested in any shopping. I was thinking, I left my Bhagavatam. And then she says she's walking and suddenly she sees somebody thrusting Srimad Bhagavatam there. Madam, please buy the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada ki jai, devotees ki jai. Some devotee there is trying to sell Srimad Bhagavatam. And she said, I couldn't believe. And then that is where she said, that is where she was convinced how Sarva Vyapi, how omnipresent Srimad Bhagavatam is. And then she took the book, and then of course she said it was unbelievable. Somewhere in London, then I was feeling so much that Srimad Bhagavatam came to me. And she said, she looked up and it was an ISKCON devotee, and then she thanked the devotee profusely. So I thought, the shlokas that we are reading, particularly in this particular chapter, how much, it kind of, kind of takes us on the negative aspect. But we must remember that Krishna is above everything. Krishna is just above everything. Any negative, anything Krishna is, takes care of. If we are really sincere, we are really hankering, like the way that Mataji was expressing, right? We are sincere, then Bhagavatam will not leave us. Even if we leave Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam will not leave us, right? So this is one last shloka from Narsimha Purana, and it is very, probably I thought it is suitable. I have narrated this shloka. It is very simple, but thought it is very suitable for the current scenario situation. Krishna Krishne Krishna Krishneti Krishneti Yo Mam Smarati Nitya Saha. Narsimha Purana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead declares what he declares. Krishna Krishneti Krishneti Yo Mam Smarati Nitya Saha. Nitya Saha. What? Smara, chanting or remembering. Jalam Bitva Yatha Padmam Narakat Uddharami Aham. Like how the lotus flower comes out of the swan, like how it, it says, Jalam Bitva Yatha Padmam, how it comes out like that. The one who is chanting my name, as the growing lotus flower breaks through the water, so I pull up from hell a person who's chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna always. So on that note, I would like to thank all of you, all the people present and all of those who are not, who gave me an opportunity on this auspicious day to speak about Krishna, and seek all your prayers to do my seva much more diligently in the way my Guru Maharaj wants me to do it. And many shortcomings. So that is why I'm seeking your prayers to trying to overcome them. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare.
Mataji, this last sloka which you said just now, can you please put in the group with the meaning, please?
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Beautiful one. Narayani Mataji, yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Very, very enlightening session, Mataji. And I would just say one thing, Mataji, without knowing these negative aspects, we'll not be firm in our bhakti. So this is sometimes very, very, important to hear this so that we can understand how fortunate we are that we got this opportunity of having this platform where every day speakers are coming, telling us, enlightening us with the message of Shrimad Bhagavatam. So we are really very fortunate. So Hari Hari Bol.
Yes,
yeah. Shanti Mataji, do you raise your hand for question?
No, actually, Mataji, I am sorry. She had raised her hand for reading. And then
okay.
Somehow it is.
Okay.
I mean, she
sorry,
didn't get
Mataji, next time. Yeah.
Monday, probably you can give her the first chance to read.
Yeah, if I'll remember.
Yeah, she can remember.
Okay. Yeah, she can remember. Anyone else? No questions? Yeah, Mataji has explained it so nicely. Padma Shri Mataji. Yeah, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for the very nice class, Mataji. I didn't understand the 2 a.m. What was that, Maya? I didn't get that. Maya attacks us at any time. He was waking up and doing sadhana. What happened at 2 o'clock? I mean, I didn't get what is.
No. He was strictly he was following this thing, sadhana time, perfectly every day. 8, 12, and 6, Sandhya Vandana, one Brahmana. Then one evening, he was sleeping beyond 6 and he did not follow his time of 6 o'clock. Then Kali Purusha comes and says, wakes him up and says, hey, wake up, do your Sandhya Vandana. So he's wondering, hey, you are Kali Purusha, why you are waking me up? And then Kali Purusha says, you will start regretting. Oh, I missed my time. Then you will become humble. Now, when you're following your time perfectly, you are very proud of it. So that is, being proud is the aspect of Kali, So Kali Purusha, I'm saying, Maya can, unimaginable ways we can be in the clutches of Maya. Is that example I've given. Did you understand that, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Now I got. So we start developing pride in services also.
Yes, I can do well. I can sing well. I can dress well. I can stitch well. Capital I.
I got, Mataji. Now I understood. Thank you so much.
Just a realization, Mataji, just now before the class, I was reading His Holiness Romapada Swami Maharaj's one answer, where he was giving the answer how to kill your false ego. And he was giving a very nice answer with the tip that you do book distribution. Book distribution is one thing which kills your false ego. And that is for sure. So this is one thing which we all should try. We should, distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, and then Srila Prabhupada's mercy will definitely, we will receive Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Hari Bol.
Yes,
Hare
yes,
Krishna.
yes, Mataji.
So-
When I heard from many people, yeah, to keep ourselves humble, we should distribute books.
Yeah, Mataji.
Mataji, I just wanted to share a small incident, Mataji. I got recently initiated. And as you all know, immediately after initiation, we have to go for the Bhiksha, asking for Bhiksha for everybody. Some of them would give Mataji, but some others, the moment they look at you, they're like, turn their heads and go away. And some of them, they give you coins like 1 rupee, 50 paisa and all. So it's just like, you have to be so humble and, you go down on your level so much. And they said, this is the only time you can beg people, putting all your things down, your false ego, everything goes down, and you'll have to go on asking people. So that was like a very, very awakening thing for me, Mataji, because we are always in that, oh, okay, why should I go and talk to him? Why should I go approach them and all? But when you go for this Bhiksha ceremony, it was really very enlightening moment for me, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Raju Lakshmi Mataji, yesterday I've announced, but I think you didn't join. For you and Prashanti Mataji, the other two people, Mataji, who have taken initiation on Balram Purnima with Sunila Mataji and one more Mataji. I forgot her name.
Shri Priya Sampath. Shri Priya Sampath.
Shri Priya Mataji. Shri Priya Mataji.
She's not here.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. So shall we end the session here? Yeah. Okay. So Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Patitanam Pavanebhyyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Vibho Namo Namaha. Nandakoti Vaishnava Ki Jai, Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice class.
Hare
Shall I end the
Krishna.
session, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna to everyone. We'll meet on Monday morning. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.